Caitlin Clark does return to the floor, how is she going to help elevate this team even more down the stretch of the season?
Well, she demands so much gravity on the defensive end of the floor. She's constantly seeing multiple players, and she makes the right reads and makes the right plays for our group. So she's going to continue to allow us to stretch the floor. We're going to be able to, I think everybody else will be able to get more higher percentage looks because of what she demands on the defensive end of the floor. And she brings our own defensive versatility because of her length, because of her size. So we'll certainly look different. I think we'll be that much more dangerous on offense in particular.
Right. Stephanie White, do not put Ari and Kelsey and Caitlin on the floor at the same time. Please don't do it. Please don't do it, man. Please. All right? That lineup made no sense at all. All right? Why would you do that? Why would you do that, Stephanie White? All right, now,
Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White has finally admitted what many have suspected all season. She believes her team is better without Caitlin Clark running the show. Her stunning blessing in disguise comment about Clark's injury has blown the lid off a toxic situation where a coach's stubborn system is actively breaking down a generational superstar. This is the story of how the most exciting player in basketball is being systematically neutralized, not by her opponents, but by her own team.
And we've got Stephanie White praising Caitlin Clark. Did hell freeze over somewhere I don't know about? I don't know. We'll see. But she actually made some very nice comments, I guess, about Caitlin Clark today. She was on with ESPN.
The blessing in disguise comment wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It was a window into a disastrous philosophy. As if that wasn't enough, White then went on national television and revealed her shocking plan for Clark's return. She announced that the most dominant on-ball player in recent history would be moved off the ball more. The idea is supposedly to give Clark a breather, but the suggestion itself is an insult to basketball intelligence. Can you imagine Phil Jackson telling Michael Jordan to spot up in the corner to catch a break? Or the Utah Jazz asking John Stockton to let someone else run the offense? It's unthinkable. The fan reaction was immediate and brutal, with social media lighting up in unified disbelief. It felt like a betrayal of the very essence of what makes Caitlin Clark a generational phenomenon. She isn't just a player you fit into a system, she is the system.
Thankfully, she went on ESPN and didn't use the phrase blessing in disguise. I mean this when I say this. I've said this about Stephanie White plenty times. I actually think Stephanie White's a hell of a coach. So many people are like, oh, you've done nothing but criticize Stephanie White. I think she's got flaws. I think her rotations are iffy. I think her game plans are good. I think her defense is good. And I think her ability to get a team together is pretty good. I think she likes to play a bit slow, but she is very good. What Stephanie White is really good at is making players and teams play better than they should.
To understand how things got this bad, you have to deconstruct Stephanie White's core coaching philosophy. Before rejoining the Fever, she coached the Connecticut Sun, a team known for a disciplined but slow-paced, grinded-out offensive style. That system is the polar opposite of the high-octane, record-breaking offense Clark orchestrated at Iowa. Clark thrives in transition, with the ball in her hands, making split-second decisions that leave defenses helpless. White, however, seems determined to force this high-performance race car to drive at the speed limit, stubbornly clinging to a playbook that is fundamentally incompatible with her star player's transcendent talent. The result is a team caught between two identities and a superstar whose greatest weapons are being systematically neutralized.
In everything that we do, for us, moving her off the ball a little bit more so she's not getting worn out in game, just handling the ball 94 feet. And then we're challenging her on the defensive end of the floor as well, being a better defender. The best that for us as an opponent, you want to attack a good offensive player by making him play on the defensive end, putting him through the ringer. So being a better defender.
What makes White's approach so infuriating is that the Fever have already seen what works. Last season, under former coach Christy Sides, the team made the playoffs for the first time since 2016. While Sides had her own coaching flaws, she understood one fundamental, non-negotiable principle. You give the ball to Caitlin Clark and build everything around her. With a less talented roster, Sides unleashed Clark, who went on a scorched earth tear through the league. Now, with higher expectations and a more gifted supporting cast, White has abandoned that successful model to prove that her system is more important than her superstar. The team has gone backward, not because of a lack of talent, but because of a coach who refuses to learn from the recent past.
In 5 with Caitlyn. At the end of the day, no matter how many games they win, they lost more games without Caitlyn Clark playing. Like, so everybody argument that Caitlyn Clark is the Achilles heel, Caitlyn Clark is this and that, your argument is obsolete, bro. They will forever have that notion on there, that blemish on there. Now, if they would have won more games, lost less, then you might have had something. But by them losing 7 damn games without Caitlyn Clark playing, lets us know that, yeah, they need Caitlyn Clark.
The numbers don't lie, they paint a grim picture of neglect and misuse. After a historic rookie season, Clark's sophomore campaign under this new system has been a statistical nightmare. Her field goal percentage has plummeted to a concerning 36.7%, and her three-point shooting has fallen to just 27.9%. The most damning statistic of all? On the road, where the physicality and pressure intensify, Clark has shot a jaw-dropping 2 for 35 from beyond the arc. This isn't a slump, it's a breakdown. It's the statistical evidence of a player whose rhythm has been so thoroughly disrupted by an ill-fitting system that she's become a shadow of her former self.
On the entire league. Remember, she literally added like nearly 3 points a game to her average. She was setting records for assists. Now, that's with Christy Sides having understood the job and just letting Caitlyn Clark go wild. That's why I won't buy into the Fever. She's got to greatly alter her game for the Fever to get much better. No, she came back last year. She went scorched earth, and they were beating nearly everybody.
This flawed coaching strategy has done more than just hurt Clark's stats. It has left her exposed to a shocking level of physical punishment. This season, an incredible 17% of all flagrant fouls in the entire WNBA have been committed against Caitlyn Clark. A staggering 80% of those fouls have come from a single team, the Chicago Sky, pointing to what many believe is a clear pattern of targeted aggression. A proper offensive system is supposed to protect its primary playmaker through screens, movement, and spacing. Yet, White's system, which often places Clark in unfamiliar off-ball positions, has consistently failed to do so. Instead, she's been left vulnerable to blindside hits and reckless closeouts that have taken a severe physical toll.
I know she wants to be out here on the floor, and we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing. I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time. And go from there.
Making matters worse is the baffling inaction from the league itself. While Clark absorbs punishment that would end careers in other eras, the players responsible face slaps on the wrist. When Chicago's Kennedy Carter delivered a vicious blindside body check, the initial call was a common foul. When Marina Mabry leveled Clark with a devastating hip check after she'd already been poked in the eye, she received nothing more than an upgraded flagrant and a small fine. There were no suspensions, no meaningful consequences. This lack of protection from officials sends a dangerous message that targeting the league's biggest star is acceptable. While the league fails to act, Clark's own coach responds not by demanding better protection, but by further limiting her role, effectively blaming the victim.
Ari McDonald, all she care about is putting the ball in the hoop. Everybody want to score. That's it. Y'all can barely look. Y'all had 17 assists against the Aces the other night. Y'all can't even put up 20 assists a game. That's sad. That's pathetic. Y'all don't be getting Sophie the ball when she open. You know what I'm saying? She be playing defense and everything, and Lexi Hull. Y'all need to reward those girls. They working hard, bro. Those are some hard-working women at the end of the day. You hear me? That's crazy.
All of y'all who said we were exaggerating, Caitlyn Clark's not getting fouled, bruh. It's to the point where we have this going on.
The consequence of this strategic failure and physical battering is an unprecedented injury crisis. Clark, a player who was a bastion of durability throughout her entire college career, has been sidelined by multiple soft tissue injuries in this season alone. First a quad strain, then a groin injury, then a re-aggravation of that same injury. This isn't just a string of bad luck. It's what happens when a player's natural rhythm and flow, the very foundation of their physical conditioning, are constantly interrupted. The situation grew so tense that reports surfaced of Clark bringing in her own outside trainers, a move widely seen as a vote of no confidence in the team's ability to manage her health and recovery.
Listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, we have updates, and our recovery's going well. It's just, I think, for us staying the course and making sure that we're really diligent about each step that we take, and that we don't have setbacks, and that we're patient with it. I know she wants to be out here on the floor, and we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing. I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and go from there.
Perhaps the most damaging aspect of this entire ordeal isn't physical, but psychological. The fiery, joyful competitor who played with infectious passion at Iowa has been replaced by a visibly frustrated and dejected player. Her body language on the court tells the whole story. Slumped shoulders after a broken play, exasperated looks when teammates miss rotations, and lifeless answers in press conferences. When asked about playing off the ball, her frustration is palpable. She is a born leader being asked to follow a flawed plan. This isn't just about wins and losses anymore. It's about a coach whose rigid philosophy is crushing the spirit of a player who fell in love with the game by having the ball in her hands.
I think the obvious issue is Stephanie White is so stubborn to fit a circle in a square peg instead of utilizing the strengths of the team. And she probably felt relief because Caitlin Clark was hurt, that, this is my time, I could introduce the culture and the system. And some actually bought in. And then when Caitlin Clark comes back, she doesn't know how to use her.
As the on-court product has faltered and Clark's health has declined, the Indiana Fever fan base has erupted in open rebellion. Social media is flooded with messages of frustration aimed directly at Stephanie White. Fans aren't tuning in to see a watered-down version of Caitlin Clark standing in the corner. They paid to see the revolutionary talent who redefined the game. The calls for a coaching change have grown deafening, with a clear and simple message. Stop trying to fix what was never broken and let Clark be Clark. The outrage is palpable, a clear sign that the franchise is facing a crisis of faith with the very audience Clark brought to their doorstep.
Stephanie Jigsaw White, let me tell you something. Y'all do not move the ball better without my Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC. At the end of the day, y'all have only won 4 games and recorded 4 games where y'all had 20 assists as a team at the end of the day. Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC, she averages 7 to 9 assists a game. You hear me? Because she moves the ball and get everybody open, because everybody and their mama and their grandma be double teaming and triple teaming her, and her team is lazy when it comes to setting screens for her. Maybe she wouldn't be injured.
What we are witnessing is a tragedy in the making. A coach so dogmatically attached to her own system appears willing to sacrifice the health, spirit, and effectiveness of a generational superstar to prove a point. Every game Clark spends constrained by this philosophy is a game wasted. Every injury she sustains raises more questions about the organization's duty of care. The Indiana Fever are at a crossroads. They can continue down this path, allowing a rigid coaching style to diminish a transcendent talent and alienate a passionate fan base. Or they can make the difficult but necessary choice to build their entire world around the generational star they were gifted. The clock is ticking not just on the season, but on the career of a player who deserves a system built for her, not one that is actively breaking her.